My name is Norma Tracy. I'm a psychoanalytic therapist, originally a social worker, and my organisation is known as Strong Mums. I have several professional colleagues working with me, and our focus is, as I presented to the funding network, on the trauma of childhood or adolescence and how it affects the woman during pregnancy and her relationship with her infant for the first few years of life. I was originally working with an Aboriginal mum. In fact, over the years, many Aboriginal pregnant women. But we have moved now, transitioned, you might say, to work with those women from Iraq, Iran, Gaza, Ukraine, who have suffered both torture and trauma, and how this affects their being pregnant and being with their small babies. I remember the night I first presented to the funding network, and I told a really sad story of a young 4-year-old child coached by her stepfather, approved by her mother to be used as a sex object for a bikie gang. And how for the whole pregnancy she had vomited 24 hours a day, except on the one day when she saw me. I was the present mother as against the absent mother inside her that had allowed terrible things to happen to her. I want to tell you that I have spent countless hours, at least 2 every week, for the last 2 years, seeing her and sometimes her partner. They have moved from unbelievably awful accommodation, looked like a garbage pit, to a spotless, pristine little house up in the country, in a small country town. The baby is 4 months, a gurgly, smiling, responsive baby with a mother who relates continuously and a father who totally adores him. The beginning of a good story out of what could have been a nightmare. Since and before then, we've seen other mothers during pregnancy and fathers. One of our fathers was a stateless man from Lebanon, Syria. He had worked for 3 years, written over 3,000 letters, and finally got into Australia through Stateless Without Borders organisation. His wife, new wife, Australian, became pregnant with their first baby, and I saw him and continue to see him now right through the pregnancy and the first few months now of life. I could not have imagined the amount of distress he suffered as a child in a village where he was called Al-Bandu, which means the bastard one. I cannot tell you the pain he went through during his wife's pregnancy with their daughter and his total involvement now with this child he so adores. The next one is even more distressing because no one could have stopped this tragedy. This young mum from Ukraine married an Australian young lawyer. Aged 40, he was diagnosed with malignant terminal cancer. They had lived together for 5 years, decided they would marry and decided they would have a child. And as it turned out, the pregnancy went 2 weeks over what would have been his natural life and death. The doctors asked if it was possible for the baby to be brought on 2 weeks earlier. The mother and he totally agreed. And he spent the last 3 days of his life nursing his baby. Thank you for the kind of funding that made work like this possible. We are now moving even further ahead, and we are going to see refugees from Gaza, from Ukraine, from Iraq, from Iran. And we are going to do this intense work, both individual and groups and classes. And we are going to help these people where it matters most. The beginning of pregnancy right through to the beginning of life in this world. Thank you.